Hey, Husky fans, welcome back to Fourth and Inches, a Husky podcast. My name is Trevor Mueller. With me is Jake Grant and Coach V. UW is doing mom stuff, so we'll miss you. Sorry you're not here for this awesome episode where we get to highlight one of the worst weekends after one of the best weekends in Seattle sports in a very, very long time. Obviously, we're here to talk about the Huskies. We're all still nursing that painful ALCS Game 7 loss as well. But, we're here to talk about Washington, who also laid a massive dump in the morning on Saturday, ruining Saturday afternoon and evening to the tune of 7-24. Guys, I'm going to open up the floor to you guys. It was all barf for me.
Yeah. I just want to say that I woke up Monday morning feeling like Kurt Cobain, and I, it was a real dark place in my life. Uh, I did, I'm telling you, I did not feel good. Um, this game on Saturday, I have never been more That's not true. I've been more disappointed. I had to live through the Ty Willingham years, but I started feeling like we were on the upswing, and then you start feeling good about playing against Michigan, who we felt like we could have taken advantage of certain things. And to do the things that we did felt so wrong on all accords. There's numbers I want to throw out here real quick, Coach, and I want your reaction. Um, Michigan first half, 205 yards, 7 points. In the second half, I think they ended up with like 225 yards with 20, what was that? 17 points. Washington in the first half, 7 points. You go into the half tied 7-7. And then these are our drives after halftime. Let's look at these drives. 3 plays, 2 yards, punt. 10 plays, 27 yards, punt. 1 play, interception. 3 plays, interception. 4 plays, -8 yards. And then 1 play, interception. I know that Jed Fish took a lot of heat for this game, saying that he did not get these guys mentally ready. Maybe he's too busy worrying about the Florida job that he's probably not going to get. But I put so much of this on DeMond Williams. Are we getting to a point, and Coach, you're the biggest DeMond Williams apologist I've met. You love him, rightfully so, I get it. But are we on the verge of labeling DeMond Williams a big game shrinker?
God, no,
Tell me,
golly.
I mean, look at the numbers, though. I mean,
Yeah, but
I
listen,
knew that you were
man,
gonna. I knew
that's
that.
one way to frame it for sure. And when you have the interceptions next to your name, obviously it looks bad. Um, we have the crappiest offense. We have an offensive line that looks exactly like last year, right now, with health. Losing McCree and then going to Solo, and then you know, it's just I saw at certain points, Henning was in there playing the extra lineman slash tight end. But when Quentin Moore went down, it threw everything out of whack. Like they had never accounted for this scenario in their lives. Um, we talk about play calling a lot, and I've been very vocal about the fact that I just sometimes Jed just doesn't look like he knows what he's doing. I mean, he does know what he's doing, but I feel like there are certain things within our offense where you really have to count on. I think it works best when you have superior athletes. I think if the talent's pretty even, I don't really think we're gaining these advantages like we should. Now back to Demond, that first interception, it was kind of like out of nowhere. The guy dropped into a zone and he pulled it too quick. It was a little bit like, okay, shoot, that sucks. The second one looked like an option route where they were not on the same page. He thought Decker was going to sit down. Decker kept going. Yeah, okay. The third interception was completely Denzel's
It's
fault.
his fault.
Like he literally dropped. The guy was on the ground. He dropped the ball into his bread basket, and that was the third interception. I'm so not even worried about that right now. The fact that we got our asses handed to us on the line of scrimmage, the fact that it looks like Jonah Coleman is running at 75%, like, well, he's not getting the blocking. when he got out in space, he was not explosive. He's dinged up. We said this a little bit last year too. Um, Adam Muhammad is not progressed yet the way that we kind of hoped he would as a sophomore. Um, between the beat up offensive line and the fact that not everybody's right, we lost Quentin, and it snowballed real fast. And again, I think it has more to do with the fact that this coaching staff cannot get this team ready to play on the road.
I mean,
Period.
you can take it even a step farther as they can't get them ready to start a game. Like, it doesn't matter where you're at. This team is not starting very well at all.
No.
They didn't start well against Rutgers. I was looking at some numbers about how good Marshall was on the ground, and he actually had the second most yards per carry, but that's because Antoine, the running back for Rutgers, had one big run to start the game, which inflated his yards per game to 5.9 as opposed to Marshall's 5.6. But they just continue to put themselves in a hole early, whether it's on the road or at home. They've been able to wiggle out of it a couple of times, and it just bit them this week. I mean, tell me you didn't feel good going into half. Grady misses another freaking field goal where we've stopped. That fourth down stop by Alexander was awesome. They go down, they finally break it open and score. Went into half feeling real good that we were about to take control like we have over the last few weeks since the Ohio State game, and we just didn't.
Absolutely.
If, if,
I get that DeMond is elusive and he's a good thrower. Two of the quarterbacks, there was absolutely no pressure in his lap. We felt like we could expose Bryce Underwood throughout this game. In the biggest moment, Bryce stepped up and ended up having a really great second half.
there's a reason for that.
I understand, but you can't get the accolades and all the congratulations as a quarterback without getting the reservations also, right? I mean, don't you have to get the criticism also? And the fact is that Trevor already said that we have been starting slow. How much of that is on a quarterback's shoulders?
It's not just the quarterback. That's the problem.
I understand, but
It's the entire
everybody
program.
says that the quarterback is always the most
Michigan had a
important
game
position on the
plan.
field.
Michigan had a game plan to contain him. They were doing a good job of moving around and kind of like eluding pressure and then getting the ball out quickly. And then it would result in not points and, missed field goal and then just kind of stalled out. But those guys were getting free runs at him. We had breakdowns of protection. We had breakdowns in, I don't know, coaching where, the one play on 4th and 3 when they're trying to basically go left, and they have Decker DeCraft blocking an edge player one-on-one. And he comes in and he crushes him as he's trying to get rid of the ball. And I'm like, that's not Quentin. He's out of the game. I mean, at most, he should be helping chip a guy, not being the main blocker. I went on that rant last year when we went into the Penn State game, and I said, look, Abdul Carter and this other kid that got on the other side are really good. If he doesn't help out our backup tackle, what are we doing? And they left him on an island all game long against the number 2 pick in the draft or whatever. And I'm like, is it arrogance? Or are you just like, oh, we're going to try to do this and do that? I think it's ignorance and arrogance. I think that, as mad as I was about the offensive effort, I mean, you kind of have a little, like, there's some excuses. The defense was almost at full strength, aside from, Buddha being out for the year, whatever. But they knew that Michigan could not hurt them down the field and outside the numbers. All they really had to worry about was the quarterback run stuff, the zone stuff, and then, off of boot action, everybody's got to stay home. Our safeties were getting lost. Mikael Esteen was getting so lost, like wide open guys on crossers, and nobody had to go more than 15 yards downfield at any point. They had 4 redshirt freshmen, I believe, on the offensive line. Our defensive line got 0 pressure, 0 penetration, didn't move the pile at all the other way. the defense started off well. They were prepared, and then all of a sudden they weren't. So when your backup, when your contingency plan is, well, they haven't proven anything to us. They can't hurt us downfield. Let's spread ourselves too thin. Let's overcommit to some stupid things. And it was just, yeah, there's not enough time to get into the X's and O's of why Michigan was suddenly scheming people wide open. But the defense actually got worse as the game goes on, as the game
The
went on.
defense was also put in precarious situations over and over in the
It
second
wasn't
half.
even a
Like
matter of
short
being
field.
worn out. It was just not, nobody's covering their own man. They're trying to do too much. Like two guys trying to cover one guy at the same time. And when that happens, it's strictly panic, and guys are trying to do something outside of what their assignment is. Be disciplined, because our defense was good enough to stop their offense.
Our defense also wasn't the reason we lost this game. That's the thing, is they gave up two long touchdown drives, but the other points, which would have been enough to beat this offense, but the other one was one play, 14 yards. The other one was a field goal when they were already in field goal range. There's your game. And so, like, it was really frustrating when we needed a stop. It just didn't happen. And a lot of it was the drag routes that the tight end was running, where uh, whether it was the Devin Bryant or whoever was a step behind him, there was no adjustment to bring somebody across, knowing that they were going to do those little rub routes and they were going to do those drags across the middle. Nobody was ever there. Um, I just always go back to Washington learned so much in 2023 about where Bo Nix likes to throw the ball, and they just stuck a defender there. And it took him 3 drives to get a first down.
And
There
early
was
on, it was
no
the RPO
adjustment.
stuff. They were holding. Manu and the linebackers were jumping the run, and that seam was wide open.
Yep. Yep.
Why are we playing deep against Michigan? You should be robbing that area right over the tight end or right over the slot receiver and daring them to throw it there. And instead, we were giving them a 15-yard cushion and saying, "Here you go, it's yours."
But at the end, it comes down to the fact that, like, it didn't matter what Herculean effort the defense could have put up. If the offense is only going to score once, we're going to miss field goals. We're going to uh, send a receiver out to block a pass rusher on 4th and 3. Like, you're never going to win that offensively. And so whether it's
No, but
Demond, whether it's Jed Fish, whether it's whatever, like, it's just a garbage game plan. And we got embarrassed by a team that frankly isn't that good. And
but the
we're now
original point
teetering on a
was
position where are we actually as a program?
the original point was about being prepared and starting slow. The defense started fast. They got worse as the game went on, and it wasn't because, like, oh, they're just wearing us out, they're running the ball down our throat. It was missed assignments and just bad football. So it's not just the offense, it's the defense too. The special teams is whatever, great. um it was a piss poor effort, and it just, again, our reputation is we can't win on the road, we can't play on the road under this staff, and it's not going away anytime
In
soon.
conference
A
play, we've
mediocre,
played one good half on the road in a year and a half.
Michigan team that by all rights should have been, like, dead, and they just continue to play right into their hands. I think they have a better coaching staff than we do, and I'm not talking about Sharon Moore. I think Wing Martindale is a really, like, genius level defensive coordinator, but they kind of had the Ohio State game plan of, like, we're just going to be super conservative and we're just going to wait until you fuck up. And guess what? They did.
Third quarter came and we did. I don't know how far you guys want to get into on grades. Like, I mean, it's pretty awful across the board. I'd rather talk about either. Really, it comes down to, like, going forward. Like, what does this offensive line look like now that uh, is Quentin Moore available, or is he going to be in concussion protocol? The kid from Linden, I'm spacing on his name right now. He's out for the season. So now your tight end room is Decker DeGraff and a bunch of freshmen.
Rough.
So
Yeah, I don't even know how Elders got hurt. Like,
I
he
don't
had that
know
one
either. He
catch,
made that one catch, and I don't remember seeing him after that.
and he just, I guess maybe it happened on that play, or maybe it happened after that. I don't know, but it's just, Well, he's gone too. Like that's been the story of the entire season. Wait, he's out?
Well, like, I mean, the only thing right now that I feel like can save, we'll talk about Illinois here in a little bit, but like, if Solo's your left tackle and you still have the right side struggling and you have just a patchwork offensive line again. If you get Carver Willis back, you get John Mills back, you can move Pocky around. I feel a little bit better about things. But like as it sits right now with those guys out, it doesn't matter how good Damon's going to be. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, without Carver, there's nothing that you can do right now, anyways, right? I mean, we have who we have. Who's injured is who's injured. The, without Carver out there, there's no semblance of an offensive line. Your offense is try to get a couple of first downs, pin them deep, and see if the defense can't make something happen. Because Damon's going to be running for his life for every play, every possession.
You think we'll get the Joe Moore Award?
The Joe Less Award, maybe.
No. Yeah, it's bad right now.
So another thing that keeps popping into my head is where's Amari Evans? Like, why can't we use him? Why can't we utilize this kid more? I don't get it. And same thing, like whoever transfers in as our senior wide receiver gets the shaft. Happened again last year. But like
Remember when Jake, you said
he
he was going to have like 15 touchdowns? Jeremiah Hunter.
Man.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Just brutal.
Well,
for the audio side of it, you doing a funny face wasn't working.
Oh, we're on YouTube.
We're on YouTube. Check us out. Click and smash that subscribe button.
You got to watch YouTube to see my dumbass face. Yeah, I mean, Coach is right. I mean, we have not had good luck with senior transfer wide receivers, and I've liked both of them. I like Jeremiah Hunter. I thought that he was a phenomenal red zone target. He's a big, tall, 6'4" kid that can jump.
He was high point great in the Sun Bowl.
High point of ball. And then, Amari, he's got the skill set. He's fast. He runs good routes. He's got good hands. He came from a place that doesn't throw to wide receivers. So when he came here, I'm thinking, man, this is going to be a great setup. And he is nowhere to be found.
It's been a great time. We're like 5-2, and it just seems like, wow, we are screwed.
Yeah.
Well, it really sucks when you go in and you're in this new conference, and the teams that you freaking lose to are the only teams that have been carrying water for this conference for so long.
You know what the bummer part is like you're going into this game, you're 5-1. If you win this game, you're going to be ranked. We had all talked about being ranked all last week. We should have been. And if you win this game, you set yourself up for the potential of winning out, playing against Oregon with a chance to make a college football playoff. And then you lose in the fashion that you do, and it almost seems like the sky is falling, because not only is the CFP out of the picture now, but like, man, with the offensive line the way that it is, with the offense in general looking the way that it is, not being able to score on the road, you're lucky that you get Purdue at home in a couple of weeks to make us bowl eligible, because if it wasn't for Purdue at home, I wouldn't feel good about the rest of the games.
You still have Wisconsin, and they're very, very, very. If we lose that game, it's time to start chopping off some heads. Like, Wisconsin's very bad.
Yeah, it's also on the road.
That is true. That is true.
I wonder how we would look against Eastern Washington on the road, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
who knows about Wisconsin? I mean, honestly,
the narrative definitely has to change, because at the beginning of the year, I felt pretty. I mean, some of us had Michigan as a loss. I think I had Michigan as a win. Clearly, I was wrong in that. I felt really good about this Illinois, but if we don't get healthy on the offensive line, I don't think it really matters. Coming up this week, because, well, I don't know.
You know what? Also,
is there anything else you guys want to say? I'm kind of I hated this game.
I do have something I want to say. What doesn't help this team moving forward the rest of the year is Jed Fish not taking questions about the Florida job and just completely erroneously saying I'm not going to answer questions about that because I did it before and it burned me when I took another job. Like, you saying that is gonna now put all of the focus and attention on you, which you had already said after the Michigan game, we didn't do a good enough job getting our team prepared, followed up by ignoring questions about taking another job. And this is going to completely change the focus of this team and is now going to potentially hurt with recruiting, with the focus of this team, with the focus of your coaching staff. The fans are going to get angst. All of it is not a good look right now.
I am not losing any sleep over this drama. I just don't care. Like, it really, like, we've been through enough with these coaches the last several years. And every time it's like, oh God, what's going to happen? If you want to be there, be there. If you don't, go. I don't freaking care anymore.
That's
He's
fine.
not. The only thing that sucks is starting over because you can it's really hard to catch lightning in a bottle and just hit the ground running like, Signetti did at Indiana. And he brought a lot of players with him. Let's just, they've lived in the portal. But that doesn't happen very often. And we finally got our feet under us and we're recruiting pretty well. And the on-field product just is not fucking good enough, excuse my language. So it's not that we don't have talent, it's we don't have depth. We don't have depth of talent and experience. And when one guy goes down, it's the end of the world. We lost half our edge room before we even took a snap this year. Like, dude, that's not okay. But why weren't there other guys? They got Carver and they brought Garion back, and that was it. And I kept saying, you heard me, annoyingly say, we need more. We need more. We can't stand pat like this. And we were also counting on, nobody knew that John Mills was going to be good as a freshman.
Yeah.
But we had to count on a freshman. And guess what happens when you play freshman too early?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sorry, but the roster building in the offseason is bullshit. They didn't do enough. And now we're paying for it because guys get hurt.
Yeah, and like that's a part of the situation, right? You took over a depleted roster. It's a better roster than it was last year, but it's not deep enough. You're hoping that if they're there for another recruiting cycle, you're gonna, you should, in theory, you have Jed Fish back next year. You have a junior DeMond Williams. You're in a position where your offensive line is going to get better just strictly through high school recruiting, with Cody Green coming in and some of the other guys. But like, if he stays, I think the program continues to build. If he goes, it's going to be a lot like this. We're just going to be like at square one, like you said. I'm also not losing sleep over it. I think he did get burned because sometimes is it a bargaining tool for him to get a restructured deal? Is it him deciding to leave, whether it's UCLA or Florida or whatever other job?
Imagine leaving to go to UCLA.
I know exactly, and that will not be the place. But like, whatever openings that there are, the ones that we don't know about yet or whatever like that, like if he decides that he's going to leave, he has set himself up to like not have whatever Washington's version of Jason Shear is after him for 2 straight years. So,
Chris Fetters.
probably.
Shout out to Chris Fetters.
So, as long, you lose a recruit to UCLA who doesn't have a head coach right now. Okay, we'll see what happens.
Let's be real about what actually happened there.
Yeah. I think we all know.
Yeah,
I wouldn't raise alarm bells about losing. I can't even think of
But there's a kid on that in their recruiting class right now by the name of Carter Gooden. Sure would like to swap. Sure would like to bring him. I'm not saying anything's imminent, but there's been some dialogue, I'm sure.
It's a very interesting situation right now, there's going to be more of it. So like, this could be an upgrade, and that could be a situation where we look back and maybe that was a good thing. But it doesn't matter. as long as it doesn't take away from what the team is doing. I think, Jake, you are right in the sense that, like, man, it sucks the timing of all these firings, all these rumors, and then they go out and lay an absolute egg on the road. Unfortunately, so far for this coaching staff, that's pretty par for the course outside of, again, one half in Maryland, but the timing is not great. And this is probably one of the, I'm trying to think of last year, a beatable team on the road. Like, they had a decent
Rutgers.
Rutgers is probably the best one, but like winning in Iowa is hard. Winning in Penn State is hard when you don't have an offensive line. Like, yeah. Anyhow, is there anything else you guys want to talk about with the Michigan game, or are we ready to move on?
Move on.
I would like to say one thing about the Michigan game, and that I really hope that this was a giant wake-up call.
Yes.
I think that there's been a little bit of a sort of overconfidence that, yeah, we're good enough to do. You're not good enough to do this bullshit every week and then get away with it. It's not Rutgers at home. So, I mean, Michigan's not good, but neither are we right now. So, yay.
And that leads us into the next team that we're going to go up against, the number 23 Illinois Fighting Illini. This game is a really weird one where Illinois is very much kind of in the same boat as Washington, where they've looked really good. They've laid a massive egg. And they're kind of, I still think, trying to figure out exactly what they're going to be in 2025.
Who was the egg against?
Indiana.
If you say Indiana, that wasn't an egg. Indiana's really fucking good.
Right, but if you're the number, listen, stop. If you're the number 9 team in the country, that's what I'm saying. It's the egg that Oregon didn't lose like that.
Oregon almost lost to Penn State.
Okay, and then they almost beat Indiana.
If you're a ranked team, you don't give up 63.
Also true.
If we played, yeah. Well, we're not ranked, so never mind.
We can lose. We can give up 62.
But then the other thing is, then they come back and they beat USC.
Exactly.
Which handled Michigan. So
yeah, it's a really weird matchup. They have one of my favorite quarterbacks in the conference, and Luke Altmaier, who's
there's so many to choose from.
Right. He's a really good quarterback that does make me nervous because fundamentally he's going to take what the defense gives him. And then if we get into a situation like last week where we're blowing assignments or we're scheming up some garbage stuff for 2 tight ends to be 2 of the 3 leading receivers, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. Their defense it's continuing on kind of the downward trajectory since Ryan Walters left. And so I think that there's money to be made on the offensive side of the ball. The question is, do we have enough to protect? So who wants to go first? Tell me what you got on the Illini.
First of all, I mean, you talk about tight end play. There just is none for Altmaier. His leading tight end receivers got 10 catches on the season, so that's less than 2 catches a game. I'm not super duper worried about that. What Altmaier does really, really well is spread it around. Hank Beatty, I mean, he's already got 39 catches on the year, but I mean, there's 20 guys on this roster that have caught passes from Altmaier this year. He's extremely, extremely accurate, 72% completion rate. He's got 13 touchdowns, only 1 interception on the year. The guy just doesn't take risks. He doesn't do a lot of down the field throws. I mean, I'm talking like deep balls, right? He does hug the ball down the field a little bit. He reminds me a little bit as far as a passer goes of like Bo Nix, right? Where he takes that a lot of the intermediate routes. He lets it fly occasionally, but not very often. He's just a good quarterback, man. Their offense is really, really scary to me. Even though it's at home, the best thing we can do is pack that stadium, make it loud, and see if it kind of affects that offense a little bit. Because if we can shave 3 points off of that offense, 4 points off of that offense from the noise, that could be the difference in the game.
I think that Altmaier is really good, and he's kind of like the point guard distributor type quarterback.
Mhm.
He lost his big receivers from last year. It's been sort of a different story on the outside, but he finds ways to get it, the short underneath stuff. He'll throw to the backs when you clear out. Honestly, if I'm being honest, none of their wide receivers one-on-one scares me at all. Take your giant condor corners and man them up and put put boot to ass, jam everybody. If you're gonna be this five front defense that never plays any freaking zone, then just come after 'em. If these guys are on the outside are as good as you think they are, then they're not gonna get embarrassed. Get to him, make him check down every single time, and you actually have to rally to the ball and you know all that stuff. They should not run the ball on us, but we keep saying we should do this and we shouldn't do that. I wouldn't be surprised if they run for 300 yards now because. No, in all seriousness, though, we got to score. We got to put up 30 points. If we put up 30 points, we got a great chance of winning. If we don't put up 30 points, it's going to be like, you know, a loss, basically.
And I'm glad that I think against Altmaier, I don't want to play zone. So I'm kind of on the side of letting our big, physical, strong cornerbacks kind of try to manhandle these receivers, make it uncomfortable for Altmaier, make them fit it in tight windows, which we know that our cornerbacks do create. They always have pressure. They're always kind of glued to those wide receivers. I would rather play a really stingy man against Luke Altmaier than a zone, because that's when I see him start to pick defenses apart, is when he can sit back, which we know he's going to be able to sit back and relax. But against the zone, he's going to be able to pick that apart, find the open receiver. So if
We have to get this guy on the ground. We have to pressure him.
you do, I'd say the one good thing about their defense is that they don't have any more sack QB pressures than we do as a team, which isn't many.
Their defense is not good.
Their
No.
defense is not good. They don't have as many pass deflections as we do. We're about the same as sacks. We have more interceptions. And our defense has not been super duper spectacular. They've been good, but not super duper spectacular.
The thing is, they're healthier than we are.
They are healthier than we are, but their defense is not
Niceman as a
good.
team
Not
overall,
that
like
good.
they've pretty much got I think they've got their offensive line pretty much intact from the beginning of the season, and they do a good job against the non like Ohio States and Indianas. They've done a good job of protecting.
They're still giving
Um,
up. I mean, average. You take out Ohio State and Indiana, they gave up 34 and 27. So it's 31 points a game in the aggregate. You throw in the 63, it throws it off. They gave up 34 to Ohio State. There's a lot of points to be had if they can, if Washington move the ball, if Damon Williams can get loose. And I really don't know what to say about where Jonah Coleman is right now. I'm very excited for a bye for him to give him a chance to kind of heal up a little bit. But there's points to be had. There's points to be had in Michigan last week too, and we failed to convert on those. So it is interesting though. Washington is a 3.5 point favorite. That's down from 4.5 that it was opened at. But so Vegas thinks highly of either Husky Stadium or Washington's chances against this Illini team that on paper was supposed to be better.
yeah, it's not a juggernaut of a team, but they're good enough to beat you. They're good enough to beat you on a given Saturday. And the way we've been playing the last month or so, it's just like, I don't know if I trust our team to come out firing. Like, I haven't seen it in a while.
We haven't come out firing in. I can't think of the last game where we came out and I felt really good about our start.
Like
Let's see.
Wazoo,
Wazoo was the
but,
last
but
one.
but defensively, like we got a slow start and then we just poured it on.
Mhm.
But then Ohio State, and then everybody got hurt in that game, and we stunk it up and didn't score from inside the five, and then it, Maryland was wow. How did we win that game? And then Rutgers was an extremely embarrassingly slow start, and then run it up. So yeah, it's a
If we
Jekyll
start
and Hyde
fast, we're
sort of
gonna
deal.
win. That's gonna be nuts.
Man, I don't
Well,
even know what to do.
the problem is though is Washington made in the Maryland game, the Rutgers game, they made pretty good adjustments at halftime, and the Michigan game, they did not, and that was one of the big issues. Because going in 7-7, I felt really good about it, scoring right before the half, feeling really good. Um, there's points to be had, and I I like a home Washington as opposed if this was in Illinois, I'd feel real nervous about it.
Chance. Mm-mm.
I don't feel great about this game. I think I wouldn't be surprised if Washington wins or Washington loses. I wouldn't be surprised if we win by double digits. I wouldn't be surprised if we lose by double digits. I really think this game is very wide open to which Washington comes out, what our offensive line looks like, and what adjustments Jed Fish and the offensive coaching staff make.
Yeah. Uh, it's time to see what this coaching staff can do. And I have not been impressed. I'm saying this as a high school coach. Like, what do I know? I just haven't been impressed with the starts. Um, your play script is supposed to be like you're supposed to really look good in your 15, 20 plays, your first 20, and it's been the opposite. So really, again, I keep saying, I said earlier in this podcast, we are very good when we have more talent than the other team. Like we can turn that on. When we don't, and then the coaching has to be the thing, we look like shit.
The part that makes me nervous about that whole thing is Illinois does blitz their linebackers a lot. All of their leading sack getters are their linebackers. I don't know if I trust us enough to scheme it up to stop their pressure, to be honest. I mean,
Yeah,
especially we're blood and shark infested water right now. With our offensive line looking the way that it is,
you know, it'd be
Illinois
helpful.
they're going to blitz more.
Do you know what would be helpful, Jake? If we could run a proper fucking screen to the outside. We
Yeah,
can't run it right. We can't catch it right. We can't have enough spacing. We don't block it at all. I have never seen so many no gains, 1 yard losses, 1 yard gain on the fast screen when we have numbers. I've never seen this before at this level. Like it's like our
Is it
screen game.
young
The only
receivers not
screen game that
blocking
works
well?
that the only screen game that works is the middle screen that they throw to Jonah when they let everybody through and they just kind of whip it around the defensive end and then he goes for 20 yards and like, oh,
Is
that was
that some of the youth on the outside?
no, because we saw it last year too. And I've shared this with other people. I probably shouldn't even be sharing now. Should you just mute me right now? Last year when I went to the coaches clinic, I went to see Brennan Carroll's breakout session on their screen game. And I was like, okay, that's pretty basic. And I started asking follow-up questions like, I go, what's your variation of this if they line up like this? Just kind of basic. And he looked at me and he's like, we keep it pretty simple. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I started like listening more and I was like, this is like stuff I've run with junior high teams. Like this is the basics. Like how do you disguise this? What's your variation of this? If they line up in press here, how are we gonna, get to our, pump fake and whatever. I felt underwhelmed going to the screen game breakout because I just thought it wasn't very sophisticated or very creative. And a couple years later, I'm saying, man, this sucks. Like I don't know why it sucks. It just a lot of it is just philosophy and design, probably. But we have athletes, and they're not athleting when they get the ball in their hands, and that's an execution thing, but uh, it's also something else.
which is crazy to me too that our screen game was so bad last year and is so bad this year because you had an advisor on the team last year that was an all-time screen play running machine in the NFL in Bill Belichick. That guy, his screen game was stronger than any screen game I've ever seen. And Tom Brady got blitzed all the time to try to get the ball out of his hands on 3rd and long, and they would run screens to perfection, and to not be able to pick his brain and use that, function in your offense is
I had
diabolical
I
to
had a
me.
working theory, and like Jed's been everywhere. He did spend some time in Seattle, and Seattle's had a pretty shitty screen game for years. So maybe it rubbed off on him. I don't know. But that's just as a coach, like as a coach who loves offense, like I just feel like if you can't run a screen, I mean, now what? How do you throw them off balance? Like, are we just saying we're going to line up and be better than you every single play? Where's the deception? Where's the, you know, taking advantage of our mismatches? I think it's just the only time we're successful is when we out athlete somebody, unfortunately.
All right, so what do we think? What's the score going to be?
Fighting Illini. I don't trust our offense. I don't trust our offense even at home to score more than 14 points.
Man, if I hadn't watched what our safeties were doing on Saturday, I would feel better about this game. I think safety scares the crap out of me. I just think that we were out of position a lot, and all the big plays they got on the passing game were because of the safeties. I know we're not going to get pressure with our front four or three or whatever. I hope to God we blitz, but also you're going to be wide open. You're going to be left open to, you're going to be susceptible to big plays. If you're going to be that team that just says we're bullies and we're going to come after you, then be that team. You can't play in the middle, because the way we played the RPO last week was the biggest pile of dog dung I have ever seen in my entire life. It wasn't even like we were trying to defend the RPO. It's like I don't even know if we practice against RPO. That's how bad the linebackers played and the safeties played. So my prediction is the offense will get it together. Maybe Carver comes back. I don't know. Maybe somebody may come back this week. Maybe it's going to be the week after that. I don't know. But in the meantime, Jonah, I hope you're healthy. I hope you're ready to go, because they're going to have to get him involved in the screen game. They're going to have to get him involved in the passing game. They're going to have to just kind of block everybody up and let Damon do what he does. And I know he can against this team. So the score is going to be 38-35, and I don't know who's going to win. I'm going to say Illinois right now, because I want to sound like a homer.
Well, my thought
You will,
process
though,
was,
Trev.
oh yeah, don't you worry about it. We're not going over 3, baby. Now, but I did have the same thought process as you, Coach, where I do think that there's going to be some offense scored. I do think Washington, they love giving up 24 points. I think that my score is going to be 24-27. Grady Gross redemption story. He's going to knock one through to win. So 27-24 Dogs. I don't feel good about it. If I'm right, great. I literally, all 4 of the options I think are open this week. The lapses on defense, like Coach talked about, are fixable. The offense can't play that bad again. They've shown that they're capable. All right, looking around. Guys, I think the Cinderella story ends in Westwood. UCLA is headed to Indiana. Yeah. Jerry
Going
Neuheisel
going to Indiana,
going to Indiana. They're 25.5-point dogs.
UCLA to win.
Jeez.
Jake, you're full
Over
of shit.
Big Netty?
Yeah, I'm full of shit, but if it hits, though, Coach, I look like a fucking champ.
Listen, put some money on it. Put some money on it. No, what I think is going to happen is I think UCLA will play a little bit for a while. What was the spread again?
25.5. It's a big spread.
Indiana by 21.
If
Okay.
if UCLA comes and wins this game and Nico balls out, is he all of a sudden in the Heisman conversation? Because he balled
Dude.
out last week. I mean,
If they
come on.
would, that's not going to be something I entertain. It will not happen.
Nico goes for 400 and 4 tutties. Tell me he's
Yeah,
not in the
I
Heisman
know.
Gonna have
conversation.
to.
Yeah. Nope. They're going to win by 35. Next up, we have Ole Miss, number 8, versus Jake's Sooners,
Oh,
number
no.
13, in Norman.
Mateer came back last week. He looked a little
Looked
bit
like
rusty,
shit.
but he'd missed a while, so I get it. I don't know if I'm super confident in Oklahoma if he's not 100%, but also, which Ole Miss team is this going to be? It's going to be the one that played the Cougs. It's going to be the one that played last week. I don't know. I think they can score points, but so can Oklahoma. Where's the game again?
It's
Norman.
in Norman.
Yeah. Give me Ole Miss by 3 on the road.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they even brought Mateer back to play in the Red River was crazy to me. Oklahoma had kind of been dealing even with their backup. They'd kind of been scoring in bunches anyways. And then he's got a cast on his thumb on his throwing hand. It's not good. Not a full blown cast, but like a thumb deal. I don't know. It didn't look good. I can't believe that they stayed with him the entire game, especially looking at the way that he was throwing the ball. Ole Miss is going to be out for redemption after last week's game. I have Ole Miss winning by 7.
Yeah, I think Ole Miss is. I think Ole Miss goes in and beats them.
And
I think it was.
Oklahoma's on the verge of falling apart too because their next 4 games are all against top 15 teams.
That's a brutal schedule, and
Yeah.
that Texas loss, I think, you're gonna look at that as kind of a turning point where they win that game. You probably feel good.
Yeah.
Um,
It's going to be the reason that they don't make the CFP.
they'd probably be 10-2 at the end of the year. Now they're going to be looking at 9-3, 8-4. I think this is their next loss.
Agreed.
Next one's going to be super fun. Missouri's heading to Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt knocks off Les Miles last week. Now they got a chance to give Missouri their second loss. I like Vanderbilt in this. They're only a 2.5-point favorite. Give me Vandy.
Yeah, I'm taking Vandy, especially after being the reason that Les Miles is gonna get fired. First time Vandy'd beaten LSU since 95 or something like that.
1895?
Yeah. So keep doing the thing, Vandy. What's the quarterback's name? Diego.
Fabio.
Yeah.
He's in the Heisman conversation. He's been balling.
He's in the conversation of the league. That's weird, man. So I'm going to be the turd in the punch bowl here. Vandy's going down.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's time. It's time.
Missouri's pretty good too.
I don't even like Missouri. I hate Missouri as a program, as a state, as an idea.
Terrible
I
mascot.
yeah, fuck these guys. But honestly, I feel like this is college football and anything can happen and chalk doesn't exist. So uh, Missouri's going to find a way.
Post
And
Super Bowl
heaven
letdown.
forbid, if anything happens to Diego, if he has to go down or lose some time in a game or whatever, Vandy, yeah, he's the engine that makes things go. So if they find a way to kind of chip away at him, then they got a shot. That's weird talking about Vandy like this. Like, oh my God, Missouri's going to upset them on the road. Like, what are we talking about here? This is Vanderbilt.
Yeah, they're a baseball school. Does Les Miles bounce back and beat the number 3 team in the country?
Who is that?
Texas A&M.
Oh God, no.
Oh,
A&M's rolling right now.
LS who?
Yeah.
Here's
Les Miles.
the thing. I have not.
Go ahead. Here's the question. It's not if LSU is going to win. It's how many more weeks does Les Miles have a job? Does he make it to the end of the year? Yes or no?
So everybody, people online always just want to always throw in the comment about him killing a kid when he was at Notre Dame on that. So you know what I'm talking about though, on that lift thing?
Yes.
And have I ever shared my lift story with you guys?
This sounds like a really long yes or no.
When I was working at the athletic department at Central Washington University, one day one of the coaches came up to me and he's like, "Hey, the guy who usually films from the crane, he's out of town for a wedding. Can you do it?" And I was like, "Of course." It's Ellensburg, Washington.
That's windy.
The windiest place in the state. And I'm literally above the goalposts, behind the goalposts on a giant crane filming. and it's just back and forth like this. And that's what he did to this kid pretty much, who died. And Western Oregon was the opponent, and they had a kicker by the name of Michael Kanan, who played almost a decade, I think, as a punter for the Falcons and other teams. Big leg, All-American kicker. At one point, he lined up for a 53-yard field goal, and it almost knocked me out of the basket, and I almost dropped the camera falling out of the basket. Like, a 53-yard field goal should not be the top of the uprights.
That's crazy.
And he almost killed me. And I found that son of a bitch after the game, and I was like, "He almost killed me." He's like, "Who? What?" But anyway, so every time I think about Coach there, I think of how he kind of killed the kid at Notre Dame, and how I was almost the kid that got killed at Central Washington University. The same thing. They're going to lose. LSU's going to lose. And I
Same
hope they
question.
lose every game.
Same question. Does Les Miles make it to the end of the year or not?
He's not. And the boosters, let me
Dude,
tell you
he
something.
could be 7-5 very easily.
The boosters at LSU are already like done. They're already making phone calls.
Okay.
Which is crazy.
Thanks for answering. Trev, does he make
But
it to the end of the year?
it couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Trev,
No, 7-5 isn't going to cut it.
if I ask you this question, are you going to tell me a story that has nothing to do with the topic itself?
Oh,
We
I
are
think
in the
they're
business
connected.
of entertainment, Jacob.
No, he won't. 7-5 isn't going to. What was that? Ed O's last year? Was he 7-5?
The wheels fell off that one quickly.
Well,
But like supposedly he had all his hose hanging around the program.
Yeah,
and
that's
it was
true.
just like he was on a victory lap for about 2 years after the
Yep.
national championship.
Yep. The last one I want to talk about is one that I think has some ripple effects to the University of Washington, and that's number 25 Michigan heading to East Lansing. People seem to be very frustrated with Jonathan Smith, former Washington offensive coordinator, and who knows if he waits for a little bit longer, he could have been in the running for Washington's head coaching position when he was at Oregon State. Michigan sits at 3-4. They've lost a couple of real stinkers with a guy who's supposed to be an offensive genius. Obviously, you're going to lose to Indiana. They get embarrassed by UCLA. They lose by double digits to Nebraska. What's going on in East Lansing? Is Jonathan Smith in trouble?
Let me tell you this quick story about how this one time I was in a lift while I was working, and it almost tipped over, and I almost
You're not
died.
funny, man. Like it's just like
Trevor's
beating a dead
laughing.
horse.
It was kind of funny.
Trevor laughs at everything.
Trevor, that's why Trevor's my best friend, because he makes me feel good about myself.
You're welcome.
I think that this could be the end of Jonathan, the start of the end. He's not going to get fired after losing to Michigan, but Michigan is going to beat the brakes off of Michigan State. At one point, yeah, absolutely they are. At one point, I saw Aiden Childs was supposed to be mocked at a top 5 pick, and now he's mocked not even to get picked in the NFL draft. They're a burning pile of dog poo, and the question is when Jed takes the Florida job, do we hire Jonathan Smith?
No.
Trev
No.
wants to. Trev wants to.
No.
Trev, you brought it up to me earlier yesterday.
I asked you if that would be something that you were interested in.
Because you're interested. I can
No.
read between the lines, Trev.
No, I already told you who I want.
He's
I'm keeping
putting a
that
lot
aside.
of words in your mouth.
That's not the only thing I put in his mouth.
At least it's not a foot.
Shout out to the toe. I think Michigan State beats them.
No way.
I told you guys, hey, listen, I don't think Jed's going to Florida or UCLA or anything like that, but I told you who my replacement would be. Jeff Brom, Louisville.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You
I
think
mentioned
he would
him to
leave?
Trev the other day.
Yeah, Washington's a better job.
He's making like $6 million a year.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know if they could give him that kind of raise. It is his alma mater, but also, I mean, the Big Ten versus whatever Louisville plays in. I don't know.
ACC.
I guess that's really a conference. But the one thing about Jeff Brom is like even when he was at Purdue, he could definitely coach the shit out of offense. You know, former NFL quarterback, like he's incredibly smart, and they just knock teams off. Like, even when they don't have the same talent, we should have won the damn Sun Bowl last year. He was shorthanded too. He found a way. But who did they just beat 2 weeks ago?
Well, they just beat Miami last week.
Miami. Yeah. They beat Miami. Do they have a bunch of 5 stars? No, they have a little bit of money, they NIL, whatever. But the point is, he always puts together good game plans, and they always have a chance to win. And then if you give him the resources that we supposedly have at Washington, I don't think we're going to get out coached and embarrassed by anybody.
All right. Good job, guys. We almost made it an hour off of just one of the worst weekends that we've had as Seattle sports fans in a very, very long time. Good job, everybody. For Trevor Mueller, Jake Grant, Coach V, go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Shout out Jerry DePoto. Please re-sign Josh Naylor.
Shout out Leah and JCap.